There are over 1,000 doors in Skyrim, and when you enter a door, it takes you to a designated cell. In vanilla Skyrim, for example, if I enter the Riverwood Trader, it takes me inside the Riverwood Trader. But I've installed a mod which randomizes each door's location. So now, if I enter, let's say, Dragon's Reach, it takes me to Nazim's house. I didn't know that he owned the Cloud District in Whiterun, Nazim. Why have you never told me this?
You get to the...
This is going to be very chaotic. Before we begin the adventure, let me first introduce you all to the hero of today's video. Plaggle Werble. I began by running my clothesless bones to Riverwood. I watched as my masterless boots tumbled following my trail. I then entertained my hungover brain by playing soccer with some cabbage. I had loot to sell, so I entered the Riverwood Trader. The door randomizer did its thing, and now I'm in Labyrinthian. I grabbed some much needed supplies off of a stinky corpse, fought some blueberries, and ran away with a sliver of my health left. My goal was to find a door which took me to Dragon's Reach. Dragon's Reach has 4 entrances. This means that I had a 4 in 1,000 plus chance of getting into Dragon's Reach. I pulled a Han Solo and screamed, "Never tell me the odds," as I ran inside the top door of the Riverwood Trader. It took me to Dawnstar. Things could be worse. I proceeded to the opposite end of town and went to, just to. 2 was apparently code word for the Markarth potion seller. I asked for their strongest potions, and their reply was, "Our strongest potions would kill a dragon, let alone a man." I went back through the 2 door, and entered a more civilized wooden door. It brought me to Riften, and not long after I was in Markarth. I took out the weasels inside and became the king of beggars. I backtracked to Riften, and found myself at Mazuft. I then played Helicopter Corps with a Khajiit, spoke to Gerda back in Riverwood to proceed the main quest. I then proceeded up to Bleak Falls Barrow with a small hope that the door would indeed lead me into Bleak Falls. My hope was for nothing. I entered a door in Solitude which led me to Haymar's Shire. Screw it, I'm just leaving that in. It led me to a fort and I pillaged the chests inside. I then ran into some vampire furries trying to impersonate bloodhawkers, eliminated the pest problem in the icy basement. I then exited the cave and got teleported into a trap. I proceeded on until I reached Riften's back gate. The Thieves Guild was such a problem that they master-locked the gate. I found a door at the Riften docks which led me to a place which was not Dragon's Reach. I let out my frustrations on this shovel. The end of the tower led me to Darkwater Crossing. I picked a lock and now I'm swimming with the fishes. I then entered a ship's porthole which led me to a dead end. Hagraven sent her firebolt fist through the door. Any place was better than that. I then entered the top side of a vessel which led me to an Australian zoo. I came across a master-locked door. However, my curiosity got the better of me. Through the door was the 3 Witcheteers. I dodged my way past them and made my way into a Spriggan den. I backtracked through every regrettable door until I reached Skyrim's open world. I headed for the lighthouse, which led me towards some manageable combat. This cabinet was acting awfully suspicious. I made my way through the secret entrance and past some traps until I reached Chillrend. Chillrend is a unique weapon with an enchantment that gives you a chance to paralyze your enemies. This is extremely strong. I got sent to Fort Greenwall. This was the perfect opportunity to test out Chillrend. This bandit thought that we were having an honorable boxing match and stood up before his 10 count. I entered another door in the fort's courtyard, barely survived this encounter with the conjurer, pulled all the levers and berserker raged my way through to a spell tome, and entered a door which led me to the vampire castle. I have no words to explain what happened in here, so instead I'll just have to show you. Oh god. My journey then took me to Riften and then Markarth, where I sold some of my loot to Calcium. I entered Mistvale Keep in Riften, which sent me back to the boats near Solitude. I then entered a cave which gave me a Solstheim loading screen. Would this take me to Solstheim? Yes, it did. My journey has taken me from Riverwood to Riften to Markarth and now to Morrowind, but still no signs of Bleak Falls Barrow nor Dragon's Reach. I then came face to face with a Draugr White Lord. I decided that facing him would not be the best of plans. The journey to Solstheim was quick as now I am in a dungeon back in Skyrim. I fought off some Draugr inside and also a jug. The end of the dungeon took me to Halted Stream Camp. Arrows to the knee was so last era, so instead I took one to the head. I made my way through the plains to Whiterun. Okay, seriously, what's with all these master lock doors? I used my Dragonborn abilities to open the gate. These chickens had to pay the price. I taunted the locals with my kill and failed my reanimation spell. I did a loop around the stables and grabbed what was rightfully mine. I reanimated the chicken and now I have a friend. Well, a friend for 60 seconds. But those 60 seconds, oh, they were good. I helped out the Stormcloaks by taking out some Cyrodiilic snobs. Entered a door and found some potential new friends. You see this cave here? This cave will have quite the plot twist later on in the video. Just remember this very specific view of this hole in the roof. I got myself a friend, traversed through a tower and floated up the large mushroom. Sold some items to Neloth, had a testosterone-fueled masculine stare-off. Neloth cracked the shits and pulled out his spells. Blubberwerble then got blasted into oblivion. I quick backtracked later and, well, I guess I'm going to jail. I failed to break myself out, so I entered a sentence-skipping coma. I went to repent my sins at the Temple of Mara and got sent to a dungeon's back door. This red dot is a dragon priest waking up. Hell no. I don't remember how I got here, but let's just let the chaos ensue. I then got sent to a dungeon which was only meant for the strongest of Dragonborn. I backtracked back to Riften and started the Thieves Guild questline. I went to grab the quest item when I realized I have no lockpicks. I purposefully got caught pickpocketing and then served my time. So the Thieves Guild are logged as the quest marker is sending me to an unreachable location. I then took a door to Dragonbridge. Got to know the locals. A few doors later and I'm spiraling down a path of madness. Bloated Man's Grotto then transported me to Maes Mora's Daedric realm. Well, I got out of there pretty quickly. The quest marker then told me that if I wanted to speak to the Jarl of Whiterun, I would have to head underneath the map. Well, back through some more 2 doors I go. I then get hit by a mammoth head rigged as a trap. At this point I was losing my mind. I had not discovered one location for a main quest dungeon. I fought a Hawker and then a pair of Redguard twins. I then fast travelled back to Ravenrock for a breath of fresh air. Well, that trip didn't last very long. We're back in Skyrim. I backtracked to Ravenrock and entered a door which sent me to the Periite Daedric quest dungeon. I had a dance with a roly boy inside. Got to the end of the dungeon which sent me to a lone necromancer den. I stole all of her garlic and went back to Ravenrock once again. This time I entered the mine, which led me to what I thought was a dead end. Went through the large iron doors which sent me to the top of a mountain. I went back in. This time I had a plan. Hold a platter in front of me and run up to the wall. Turns out it wasn't a dead end and there was someone there the whole time to open up the door. Well, at least I tried. I then entered the door in that room and then I was sent through an entrance which was cut from the game. I glitched my way through the cave and realized that I'd already been here earlier. I then exited the cave and got reunited with some friends. I went searching for a door in Solitude and entered the Bard's College. It brought me to an orc camp. I thought because I was an orc we would be friends. This was not the case. My adventures then took me to Fort Greymore and then the Skull Village. I scratched their back, patted their shoulder and fed them my sword. I used their keys to unlock their doors, and one took me to some kind of Falmer ritual. I took out the Falmer servants and witnessed a very strange cardio technique. I put the man out of his misery and met back up with the Bloodhawkers. I went back to the Skull Village and entered some more doors. One of them coincidentally actually led me to a home. However, the house was haunted by a possessed child.
Not supposed to be.
Whoa! I ran for my life out the door, which took me to Riften, and then my game crashed. I loaded back in and read the possessed child a bedtime story. Cragstrider approved of this and stopped attacking me. I went back to Riften and went through a few more doors. However, now my game was truly starting to fall apart. I was falling gracefully when I suddenly landed on solid ground. I took out some spooky, scary skeletons and started a quest to receive 2 ceremonial weapons. I proceeded on with my quest, failing to reanimate along the way. This Draugr tried to give me some ice, and then I tried out my weapon on this guy. It was doing nothing. So I grabbed the ceremonial weapon and went searching for the second. Taunted a Draugr, found the second weapon, and placed them on a very sturdy door. However, apparently the door was slightly too sturdy because when I went to open it, nothing would happen. I left the dungeon, which took me to Belethor's shop. I went searching for the sister that he was trying to sell. He caught me snooping around. He really didn't want me snooping around. I left his shop, which led me straight into a Draugr death overlord. I swear these Draugr names are just getting longer and longer. I proceeded on through the dungeon and tussled with a more manageable Draugr Wight. I then lowered some stone doors, grabbed myself a potion and died to a log trap. Those bloody Ewoks. Got sent back to the murder scene, made my way back through the same dungeon, and came out into the Whiterun Plains. I analysed my next move and surveyed the area. I decided to fast travel to Solitude and enter a few doors there. One of them took me to Bleak Falls Barrow, except the backside of Bleak Falls Barrow. Making my way through Bleak Falls Barrow, but backwards, was a very strange feeling. I spoke to Arvel, cut him down again, and grabbed myself the Riverwood Trader's prized possession. I took this bandit out before he could fail the puzzle, went through the front entrance of Bleak Falls Barrow, which took me to a place that I did not want to be. I was trapped in with the Centurion. He marched towards me like the older brother going for the PlayStation controller. I dodged around him and went through a door which took me to another Dawnguard location. I took some supplies and basked in the unenterable 2 portal. That place was a dead end, so I had to face my older brother. However, he sent his Weasley friend to step in, fighting for him. I was searching through my brother's drawers when he sent a deadly vape cloud my way. I went back into Bleak Falls Barrow and was calmly strolling through when I got spooked by the wounded spider. I went back to Solitude to enter some more doors. One of them takes me to Golden Glow Estate. I enter the back trap door, which takes me to another Dawnguard location. Man, the game really wants me to do the Dawnguard questline. I then contract vampirism, but luckily there was a cure disease potion very close by. I lunge myself into this woman's heart, enter a few more dungeons, and then decide to backtrack to Solitude. I enter a cave which on one side is a dead end, and the other side is an entrance that I took to get in the cave. This cave may look like the one I just showed, but no, it is different. The end of the dungeon took me to General Tullius's nerdy wargaming room. I then found myself at the back of a Dwemer dungeon, and found the Visage of Nazund. I then found myself at Solitude, and then Raven Rock, and then ran into everyone's favorite mailman. I ran away, fearful for my life. He took his job very seriously. I escaped through a door which led me to a store in Riften. I was in a spicy kind of mood. I arrived back in Solitude and lost sight of the courier. I then fought some bandits, a frostbite spider, and 2 rabbits, which leveled up my one-handed skill. I then entered a Dwemer cave, which brought me to Whiterun. Plaga Warble masculinely waltzed up to Dragon's Reach, entered the big wooden doors, and God damn it, this isn't Dragon's Reach. Soon after, I found myself in Solstheim, where I ventured for some doors. I then found myself in Solitude. If you're feeling confused, then you're not the only one, as look at this display case. I fast traveled to Windhelm, unalived this chicken, and resurrected him so that he shall serve in my grand army. You're next. I then entered a smelly den, which took me to High Hrothgar. Okay, well this will come in handy for completing the main quest. High Hrothgar then took me to the underbelly of Riften, and no, I don't mean the Thieves Guild. However, well, that's awfully convenient for us, but Mercer Frey didn't think so. I left the Flagged Ragan and recruited myself a companion. This boiled treat was just asking to be yeeted down the stairs. I then gave this Forsworn a headache of his life, entered a Solitude house, and swindled the Swindler at Swindler's Den. Swindling's my job, buddy. And that quickly, I'm in the Reach, taking out mud crabs. I then had a very satisfying jump sequence over this river, put one of my orc brethren back to sleep. Well, good to know, my game is still broken. I then ditched Stenvar for Teldrin Cerro, witness Bethesda's budget cuts.
Welcome to the Retching Netch Corner Club. I don't mind working at the Retching.
Went back to Whiterun, to the Reach, to jail. Took out some vampires, solved this awfully easy puzzle. I have no idea what this vampire is doing. The College of Winterhold, stole all of the soul gems right in front of the master. Had another spicy moment in Riften. This dark elf was just asking for it. First, he's an Imperial spy, and then he gave me lip. I then went through a College of Winterhold door, which took me to the College of Winterhold. What are the chances of that? This vampire wanted to show me a scar. Very nice. I then discovered another location for the Thieves Guild questline. And after many locations, my sanity was starting to run low. After countless doors, still no sign of Dragon's Reach. This is where I ended day 1, but if you want to see this series continued in another video, then make sure to like the video and let me know in the comments section of this video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.